My name is Jessica Bonilla, and I live off-grid in the desert. I had this dream to live more sustainably, to find more meaning in life, more connection, and this is where I found it. Before we moved out here, we lived in the city. I was struggling with a lot of things at that time. I had depression and anxiety. Sometimes it was debilitating, different health problems. I felt miserable, basically. I decided I needed to make some big changes in my life, and I started looking into how I could do that. I came across other people that were homesteading, that were growing food, that were kind of taking control of their lives in a way that was more fulfilling for them, healthier, better for the planet. And I wanted that for my life. That kind of led us down this road where we find ourselves now. I knew starting this journey was not going to be easy. I knew there was a lot that we needed to learn. When you have a lot of big dreams, sometimes it looks a little different in your head than how it turns out. And that can be frustrating. A lot of things that we needed to do and build out here, we had to learn the skills to do that first. And we kind of also learned that on the way as we were going. And things took longer than I expected. So it was a little, it's something that I had to come to terms with and get used to. My life now it's like a different life. I think back 5 years ago, and it seems like another life, another person. Everything's different in a good way for the most part. When I hear people talking about homesteading or living off-grid or even just living out in the country, and one thing that I came to realize too is it's not going to just solve all of your problems. If you have problems living in the city, it's too noisy, too many people, it's stressful. Yeah, some of that's going to go away, but there's going to be new problems. And some of those problems you're going to be bringing with you. So it's really best to work on issues that you might be having with yourself that you need to come to terms with and solve before you make that huge leap. Realize you can't just be running away from problems. You are working for something better, a better life, and finding solutions. And that's what you need to focus on, staying focused and being persistent, being patient, and wonderful things can come from that. For me, the biggest thing is a sense of connection and really taking the time to understand myself better, having more love and acceptance of myself. My partner, Jim's wonderful, but spending that much time with one person every day, we get on each other's nerves. Learning to really work together and understand each other, communicate, having that closer connection is so important. The connection with nature, all the wildlife out here, it's beautiful out here. Feeling that connectedness is really what this is all about for me. I know it's strange living in a city, being surrounded by people and feeling alone, but it can be like that sometimes. That's how it was for me. I'm a very quiet person. I have trouble kind of connecting with people sometimes and communicating. I felt alone and I felt kind of empty. I wasn't quite sure where my life was headed. Trying to find a more sustainable way of living really gave me a sense of purpose, and being able to share that with other people really opened up a lot more connections and gave me a sense of hope, and it's a really beautiful thing. We have a limited budget, so we use what we have. We make do with what we have. Sometimes you can find a lot of repurposed things for free. It can be a sustainability thing, reusing things. Sometimes it's just garbage, honestly. Things that are discarded. Our bottle windows, they're old beer bottles, wine bottles, and we can turn it into something that it's permanent. It's going to last, and it's beautiful too, I think. Sometimes it takes more time, building that way, you kind of have to compromise time, money. That's the way that we've learned to live out here. If we don't specifically show everything that we're doing, people might think that we're not doing that much. It took us a year to build this earth bag dome. People ask, why did it take so long? What's taking so long? Like, what are you doing with the rest of your day? And we stay busy. I mean, we have to. That's part of what it's like to live self-reliantly. Like, if you need water, you have to make sure that you get that water and that you have everything set up to get everything that you need. So there's a lot of chores, there's a lot of maintenance. You're busy a lot. You're doing it for yourself to build a dream. If there's one thing that I hope I can tell people, that's the big thing. Whatever your dream or goal is, it needs to come from your heart first. Finding that, for me, it was huge. Having the love for myself, having love for others, and for nature, being able to share that was everything. It gives me a sense of indescribable joy and peace. Every day I wake up and I'm so grateful for the life I've chosen. I don't regret it at all, even on days when I'm so tired and I'm feeling sore and I'm just, cranky or whatever. I have a lot of gratitude. The way I see a lot of things going in the world, people aren't always thinking long term. And I understand that we're all just trying to get by day. But if you can design a life that fulfills all your needs, you're not just existing, but you're thriving. And you're doing it in a way that will impact the world for the better long term. That's so important. It's important for our own lives and for the generations to come. We need that. It takes a lot of creativity. You definitely have to think outside the box. So we're making use of some techniques that people have been doing for centuries, maybe thousands of years, making use of what's around them in the environment and working with that, but also what we have available to us in the modern age, even though we might be doing it in a way that's unconventional. We have some big plans for the future, for our property, for our lives. We want to be more self-reliant. I mean, now we have our energy set up, our water system set up, and we're building a home. I think the next big thing is going to be food. I'd really like to be set up in a way where we're producing at least most of the food, if not all the food we consume right here on our property. That would be huge. So I first learned about permaculture maybe 10 years ago when I was kind of searching for some answers, how I wanted to live my life. And I got into kind of healthy living things, and that brought me to gardening and homesteading, and then I found out about permaculture. Permaculture is all about setting up a system, designing in a way that basically is sustainable, and setting up systems that give you so much more long-term, where you're not putting in all these inputs and energies that get wasted. It's investing in the future in a way. Once I learned about that, I was like, yeah, this is it. This is how I plan. This is how I plan my life. This is how we plan our property here. It's been great having that foundation of learning for everything we're doing here.
Hire us to tell your story. As an independent team of filmmakers, we love producing documentaries for artisans of all trades, honoring skill, passion, and determination.
The fruits of our labor literally creates happiness.
Founded in 2020, we harness our collective experience and enthusiasm for storytelling to deliver content that resonates with viewers on every level.
think big and think outside of the box.
We avoid the constant noise of clickbait news and outrage headlines, instead crafting more intimate narratives that touch on the purpose of life itself. Stories that not only inform but also inspire. Whether it's the art of agriculture, the science of fermentation, an innovative garage startup, or the intricacies of off-grid living, we're here to explore it all and invite you to join us in the discovery.
You're just working with what you have at hand instead of having unrealistic expectations.
We know the world is brimming with hidden stories waiting to be told. These are tales of ordinary people doing extraordinary things.
The biggest thing is to realize that there's nothing that you can't do.
Embodying the American spirit that with hard work, dreams really can come true. So whether you're a garage baker, homegrown mycologist, backyard farmer, or off-grid homesteader, send us a message and share your story with the world.